You're listening to KAGJ FM Ephraim, and this is the Love Shack with Felix and the Dicer.
Yes, it is.
Wait, say that again. I forgot to turn
Yes,
on your
it
mic.
is.
Anyway,
Be enthused.
You should be enthused. So, I don't know. This is our first time on the radio for a while. I mean, we haven't been on since last semester.
I know, it's been quite a while.
Yes, it has. So we're excited to talk to you guys.
We've got lots of different issues that we've discussed about love that we're going to be talking about. Well, not just love. I mean, it's dating. Let's just be honest. There's lots of different dating questions. And we've got a pretty good show planned tonight. We're going to be talking about, what are some of the things we're going to be talking about? The Dicer.
Well, actually, you know what? This is what we should do.
What should we do? Before.
Because this is our first show.
This is our first show. Yes, season 2.
Season
of
2
the
of the
Love Shack.
I think we should introduce ourselves.
Okay.
Because we did this last year, right?
We did. I remember.
And I think we should go ahead. We're a little thrown off because we just, we decided to go right into it.
Okay.
Usually we have, like, our Love Shack song before this, but we just went for it. Why not? So, I'm the Dicer. That's my radio personality.
That's just who you are.
It has nothing to do with anything, actually. My brother came up with it. He decided I should be called the Dicer. Why? I don't know. He was like, you can be a compulsive gambler.
Probably
or
are.
a cooking chef or something. I was like, this makes no sense.
She's the Dicer.
I'm the Dicer.
That's just her name.
I like to dance.
Yeah, she does. She does it all the time.
I dance like I'm insane. It's so great. And I like to call people great Americans.
She does.
I just like America. Speaking of which,
it is September 11th. Do you know what this means? The Dicer.
What does it mean?
It means we should honor our country.
Oh,
moment of silence.
I was like,
just kidding. We're not really going to do a moment of silence.
But if you haven't thought about 9/11 and the people who have fallen, please do. Write about it on Facebook, tweet, do something about it.
Seriously.
So, what else? I'm from Sandy, Utah.
That's exciting.
It is so exciting. I don't really know. I don't like to match my socks. I hate to match my socks, actually. I never do. And I got a sign made for our show. It's sitting in front of our studio right now. It's pretty cool. Come by.
Sees it.
It has, like, Love Shack spelled out and with different license plates. It's so cool. Anyway, so tell us about you, Felix.
What am I supposed to say?
I don't know.
Just about my life.
Say?
Well, I'm Felix. Well, no particular reason. That's my name. Duh. Like we said, it's on our birth certificates. That's our legitimate name. Let me think. What else is there to say about Felix? I'll just mention my kid crushes again because we did that last time, and
we did, huh?
I really, and it's a dating show, might as well, right? Then you know what kind of type I like. So if anyone wants to come by and ask Felix on dates, this happened last year. Actually, to the Dicer here.
That was so embarrassing. We won't talk about that now.
Oh, yes, we're talking about the Felix.
Yes.
I mean, Felix. Oh, darn. Anyways, I love Max Goof. I always have. After today made me fall in love with him. I am extremely in love with Kermit the Frog. Hated Miss Piggy growing up, actually. She wasn't good enough to him. I would have been better for him. I'm just saying. It's just the truth. Let's just be honest. I don't know what else to say about myself. I'm really not that exciting.
You are, though.
I'm Felix.
You are. All right, well, that's just a little bit about us.
A little bit.
It was really vague, but I'm okay with that.
It is very vague, but they'll get to know us. Just keep listening to us.
You'll just listen to us. Okay, so what we'd like to do with our show, though, this is a dating show, if you didn't get it from the title of Love Shack. Okay, so last semester, we actually did the top love song of the semester, and we discovered it's Michael Bublé, I just haven't met you yet.
That's what one, yes.
But I was talking to my brother, Aaron, and he used to be a DJ here for the Cage. And he was like, you know what you should do? Top breakup song of the semester.
There's some good breakup songs.
So, what are we going to do this semester? The top breakup song. And this week we have 2 songs going head to head. Okay, it's Animal by Neon Trees versus... Ooh, what was it again?
I can't even remember. It's Love Drunk.
Oh, Love Drunk.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't have my paper in front of me.
Aren't they coming to homecoming week?
They are. That's what I'm told.
Girls? So
that's what I'm told by my history of rock and roll teacher. He's like, you have to go to that for an assignment. And I'm like, yes.
But don't make that have you be biased or anything like that. I mean, vote.
Be biased.
Don't be biased. Vote.
We're very split this week. Usually we vote together and we're like, yeah, that song. But this week we're like,
sometimes
no.
I like to vote opposite from her, though, just
because we get intense.
We do get intense.
We just go all for it. So anyway, we're going to be playing Animal by Neon Trees first. And please vote. Go to our Facebook page. It's www.facebook.com/The Love Shack with Felix and the Dicer. No spaces, no hyphens, capitalizations, nothing. Just straight across, okay? Or you can call into the cage, tell us your vote. Our number is 435-283-7007. Here's Animal by Neon Trees. Just kidding. It's not going for some reason. Hold on.
I can sing it.
Why is it not going? This is so sad. Apparently, it's not in order. Oh, you know why? Because my iPod was on shuffle. That was silly. Okay, here we go. All right.
That was Love Drunk by Boys Like Girls, which are coming to Snow. Again, in case you didn't hear before, they are coming for homecoming.
It's true. So be sure to vote. You know, go to our Facebook page.
Again, don't be biased.
Don't be biased at all.
Just because Boys Like Girls coming to Snow doesn't mean that you have to vote for them. And just
because Neon Trees are from Utah, don't vote for them either. So, anyway.
We have a little rivalry going on. Don't worry about it.
So, anyway, let's just recap really quick for those who are tuning in right now. You're listening to The Love Shack with Felix and the Dicer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the Dicer. This is Felix.
I'm Felix.
I love how I just, like, point at you. I'm like, this is Felix.
See you.
They can't see me. They're just hearing my voice.
Exactly.
So, our first topic of this season is actually going to be first impressions.
Which is a big deal.
I feel like that's pretty appropriate to talk about.
I think so. I mean, it's the first week.
Yeah, exactly. Your first impression of us is probably fantastic right now.
Way to be optimistic, Amy. I mean, the Dicer.
Oh, we were doing so good.
We were doing so good.
All right.
Her name's not Amy, it's the Dicer.
Obviously, it's on my birth certificate.
It really is. I told you this.
Okay.
First impressions.
First impressions. I feel like they're hard to change, but it's not impossible to change first impressions.
I agree.
Because sometimes with first impressions, it's like the gut feeling almost, where it's like, I don't want to associate myself with you. You know?
It's true, though.
But or sometimes it's like, I think that you're awesome.
Well, I feel like, all honesty, like, you know how they say, like, people who lie or whatever, the truth will come out eventually?
Yeah.
It's not like you're intentionally trying to lie about who you are, but, like, the truth's going to come out eventually. Like, you know what I mean? If this is somebody that you're going to get along with really well or somebody that you're really not going to get along with very well. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a matter of time, all honesty. Like,
yeah.
So like, first impressions are still hard because that's the first thing that you think. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's like, you can't say, don't do first impressions because it's kind of like judging almost. It's something that everyone does.
It is.
But you can't help yourself.
Yeah, you can't help yourself, but at the same time, you want to be as optimistic as you possibly can.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to, you know.
Yeah. I know there are a lot of people that are like, what do I do when people have bad first impressions of me?
I know. We've had some people call in about this, actually.
Yeah. And so this is where this comes from, really. It came from our last semester. Mm-hmm. But what I would suggest to do, if someone has a bad first impression of you, you have to kill them with kindness, honestly. Like, be as nice as you possibly can to them without creeping them out.
But it's almost like do exactly what they want you to do. That sounds dumb. Yeah. But, like, you know, even if they don't want, I'm trying to make it make sense. But, like, so like, say that the Dicer is sitting here and they're like, oh, I just met Felix and she's really weirding me out. Then I'm just going to be as hip and cool as I possibly can until she likes me.
One time this happened, so, but it wasn't like that. No, it was more like, I didn't know if I was going to get along with Felix, so I was I don't know if I really want to be friends with her. I mean, she seems like she's too cool for me, so I'm just
really not what it was.
I'm going to stay far away, and then we became friends, and now we have a radio show.
Huzzah!
So anyway, you never know with first impressions. I mean, I know my brother and sister-in-law, I talked to my sister-in-law about this, and she told me that she did not like my brother at all. She was like, I hated him. He just seemed like he was so full of it and all this stuff. And they ended up getting married, you know? So it's not impossible to change first impressions.
Well, obviously.
But I think one of the worst things almost is when you have a good first impression of someone and then you never see them ever again.
This has happened a few times with us, actually.
Especially this last week.
I know.
We met this kid.
Yeah. Well, we met this one kid, and, you know, he was a great guy. He was way fun. Like, we were like, oh, my gosh, we're going to be best friends. We like to force our friendship on people sometimes. And we kind of did this to this kid, and it was great. It was way fun. We had a Super Smash Brothers night. Like,
don't judge us.
Yeah, don't judge. I'm really, really bad with that game, by the way. But we had lots of fun.
Yeah, my roommates liked him, too. Like, they were like, how do you just meet people off of the streets, and they're just so much like you? How does this happen?
It was weird.
It was way weird because he was like, hey, do you know where this building is? And we tried to help him find it.
It didn't
And it
work
was
out.
kind of embarrassing because we're sophomores. We should know where things are.
But we don't.
Yeah. It's just a matter of fact. Like, he said it was the human resource building, and we were like,
human resource building?
Maybe the humanities building.
GSC,
yeah.
what?
So, and then we decided to go to Walmart. But anyway, we haven't really seen him since. We're Facebook friends, but that doesn't mean much.
I know, but
you know, it doesn't mean much if you don't see them.
It's true. I mean, but he was a cool kid, but you never see people again. Sometimes
Exactly.
it feels like, which sucks, but whatever. And then, I don't know.
And I don't know. I think that you shouldn't be too picky about first impressions, though.
You can never judge a book by its cover.
Exactly. And you don't want people to do the same thing to you. Like, you don't want them to be like, wow, that shirt with those shoes. What in the world are they thinking right now?
Well, I know for me, like, okay, I'm kind of a weird person, let's just be honest. I mean, we all have our quirks, but I feel like sometimes I take it to the extreme. If people were to freaking judge me, you know what I mean? And be like, oh my gosh, we can't be friends, I don't think I'd have any friends.
Right.
That sounds dumb and probably like super, what's the word, insecure. But it's just the truth, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want people to judge you. So why be like, I'm just going to stick with the first impression.
Right.
You're weird. That's just how it is. It can't change.
Right. So I don't know. Just keep an open mind going into first impressions. And I don't know. I would say be optimistic about first impressions.
Oh, absolutely.
But you also have to know to trust your gut. Because
trust your gut,
like,
but
if you see that this kid is like super creepy, you don't want to be like, oh, okay, I'll go hang out with him because Felix and the Dicer say don't judge first impressions.
just,
you know,
it's a judgment call. It really is.
Right.
So, I don't know. There's just a little bit about first impressions. I just think they're funny because if you think about it, they're completely different most of the time than what you think they're going to be. I know even for Amy, I mean, Dicer, just barely. You know what I mean?
That was me face palming.
It's true.
So if you heard a little smack in the background, that was my hand against my head.
Because she's very upset with me for accidentally not saying her name, because her name's the Dicer. Anyways.
Anyway, we're going to move on.
We are.
To move on. Okay, so the next song we're going to be playing is How Far We've Come by Matchbox 20.
Good song.
So if you want to talk to us, now's the time. Do it while we're playing songs so we can give you our undivided attention.
Absolutely.
Again, the number is 435-283-7007. Again, here's How Far We've Come. All right, that was Beautiful Soul by Jesse McCartney. And you're back with The Love Shack with Felix and the Dicer. It's just the Dicer right now because Felix is on the phone. So I'm going to just start out our next topic. And what we're going to talk about next is defining the word like. Because I don't know if you guys have ever wondered about this. I haven't until Felix brought it up with me earlier today. And I don't know. It's just, it means something different to everyone. Some people mean it in a friendly way, like, hey, I like you. And then there are some people that are like, listen, I like you. And what's the difference? You don't know, you know? It really just depends when and how it's said. Because you know how there are, like, sometimes when, you know, you're in a social setting, and it's like, I like this kid. You don't necessarily mean that you like them, like you want to go date them, you know? So I know this happened to me one time with this kid last year, actually. And he liked me. He told my roommate that he liked me. And I was like, oh, this is weird. And sometimes he would be like, hey, the dicer, I like your shoes. And my comeback to that is always, well, I like you. And he took it seriously, like, oh my heck, this girl likes me, you know? Oh, look who's back. It's Felix.
I'm back. Don't
anyway,
worry.
I was telling my story about my friend from last year, how he was like, oh, does the dicer like me?
Yes,
you know?
yes.
So, I don't know. You really just have to see who's saying it and how they're saying it. Because with me, if I say I like you, it's usually more of a friendly way. I'm never like, I like you. Like,
it's true.
I like you a lot.
Well, I think the biggest thing with this one is just knowing who you're talking about and who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Because, it can vary.
Exactly. So, I don't know. And I think people say like because they're afraid of the word love.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
A scary word.
Because I told my roommates a few days ago about a situation that I was put in, and like love came up, and they're like, no, that did not happen. That guy really said he loved you, and I'm like, yeah.
You say it like it happens every day or something like that.
Yeah, and they treat it like it's a 4-letter word because that's how people, people see it as a 4-letter word,
It's true.
So I think it's a scary word because it makes you vulnerable, though.
I think so, too. And I think a lot of the time with like even.
Yeah, that even makes you vulnerable. I can't even say that.
Love is even more so.
Yeah,
like,
because you're putting your heart, like,
you're putting yourself out there hardcore.
And like, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm interested in you almost,
Well, and I just know with this one, it's really, really, really important just to kind of know where you stand on that.
Right.
I know that, I don't know if you said this when I was on the phone, but I didn't even think about this until this summer. I got the guts to tell this guy that I liked him.
Right.
And it got brought up. He was like, well, what's your definition of like? And it's like, because it's different. It's different. It varies for every people. You wouldn't think that it would be, but for some people it's more casual, and for other people it actually means something really intense. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's important, I think, to know, okay, well, what does this mean for me?
Yeah, but it's also important to know what it means for them.
Oh, yeah, which that's the whole point of getting it out there. That's because you want to know. You know what I mean?
You might say, I like you, as in I'm interested in you. Where some people might be like, I like you as a friend.
You're nice. You're good.
Really. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just my opinions on the word like.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I think one of the biggest thing is that, I don't know, they don't know exactly what love is.
It's true.
And so it's kind of like.
That is so true.
It's like, you know what I mean? I like you. I mean, I don't even know what love is, I'm sure. I mean, well, kind of. I know what, love is, but it's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
I think everyone knows what love is.
Well, I think there's a difference between love and in love.
In love, exactly. That's what I was going to bring up. And I think people confuse being in love with being infatuated.
Absolutely.
Because, you get those butterflies all the time, but do you really care for that person on that deep of a level,
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why people are afraid to say love, because
it's deeper.
Again, it's deeper than like.
Well, and if you think about it, I think about roots like that go shallow, like they're easy to take out, but it doesn't do as much damage. But like if you have like something that goes way deep, roots that are very, very deep, and you pull that out, then it's gonna, you know what I mean? It causes more damage. So I don't know. I think that's one of the reasons why people are afraid to be vulnerable to that. But
right.
And so like is a good alternative.
I agree. I just make sure, again, I know we've been kind of stressing this, but you need to make sure what like is, because I've had the confusion of like, they like me. What does that mean?
Well, I think I use it as a loose term. Me personally, I know that I do.
And I think that sometimes I use love as a loose term. Like, I just love this kid, I don't necessarily love them, but so I don't know.
I think it's important to know what it is to you, as well as if you're wanting to pursue or say, hey, I kind of like you, to get an idea of what page they'd be on to, because communication's key.
Exactly.
And without it, it's just going to cause drama on both ends. We know this. We're college kids. Exactly.
All right. Well, that's
pretty much it as far as that.
Yeah.
If you have anything to add or any thoughts or anything, feel free to call.
Yeah. Again, our number is 435-283-7007. And we're going to be playing some Billy Idol up next because we love Billy Idol.
We love Billy Idol.
Please go look up this music video if
For
you can.
Dancing with Myself. It is
hilarious.
You guys will probably watch it and be like, what is wrong with these girls?
Wait,
but I think it's hilarious.
I do have to say this, though. If I had a zombie apocalypse team of 5 people, any 5 people in the world, Billy Idol would probably be on my team because of this music video.
I agree.
So you would have to go look it up to see what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic.
You can be in the loop, too.
Maybe someday. Anyway, so, again, here's Dancing with Myself by Billy Idol.
That was Fix You.
Right. Yeah, that was Fix You.
By Coldplay. I love that song.
Also, before we forget, you're listening to KAGJ FM Ephraim.
What?
And it's not quite the top of the hour, but it's close enough. And I feel like I'm going to forget if we don't do it right now.
It's true.
We'll get intense into our conversation, and then like 10 minutes later, oh, right,
KAGJ FM Ephraim.
Right, we have to say that at the top of every hour.
So we did twice.
We did.
What?
That just made up for us saying it. All right. Well, tell us what we're going to be talking about, Felix, please.
Well, we're going to actually be talking about telling someone that you like them. This can be a very awkward situation, and since it is the first week, we figure it's something broad enough.
Yeah.
That,
kind of go into it, pick it apart a little bit,
Well, it's something everyone goes through at some point where they're like, okay, can't take this anymore, I just need to throw it out there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And like, this even happened with me this summer.
Would you like to tell a story?
I would love to tell
Dicer,
a story.
do it.
Okay, so I am a date doctor, but sometimes when I get into the moment, I kind of just word vomit. And for everyone to know, that is Felix laugh.
No, it's not. Keep
it is.
Going.
It's so great. Okay, anyway, so I liked this guy for a few months, and I was kind of always just like, okay, I like him, but I'll convince myself not to like him. And I'm really good at doing that. But I came in and visited Felix over the summer, and I talked to my friend who I liked, and then all of a sudden, we were like alone together, and I was like, I just need to tell him. And I just spread it all out at once.
It was better than that. She wasn't alone, actually. There was a group of us, and she's like, I need to talk to you. It was funny.
Well, but I was alone with him at the moment.
At the moment, yes.
So,
and what did you learn from this?
I don't know. I was ticked at him. I'll be honest. I was just like, oh my gosh. And he was like, why are you so mad? And I'm like, I'm tired. That's okay. First off, when you hear a girl say that she's tired,
there's something else.
It's usually something else. But I really was tired. We stayed up till 6 in the morning, and then we woke up at 12. So that was not good. So anyway, I talked to him, and I was like, it was about the speed, about the same dialogue too. I was like, listen, I really like you, and I don't really care if you like me too. I just want to know where you're coming from, so just tell me if you like me or not. I just needed to get this out there or whatever. Okay, and it went on for a few seconds, and then he didn't say anything. Like after that, he kind of just stared at me, and I was like, okay, well, I have to go, bye. So I left, and then he didn't talk to me for a month. So that was awkward.
We're really professionals at this, guys. Believe it.
Well, I think we know what we're talking about.
We do. It's just when you're put in certain circumstances, it is completely different when it's yourself.
Plus, I'm clearly just socially awkward.
No. Everyone does that. What are you talking about?
So, I don't know. You just need to be straightforward with these types of situations.
Be straightforward, but also think about it before you do it. I know that for me, I don't do this as often as I should, but weighing the pros and cons, being like, okay, well, this person's my friend, or what does their relationship mean to you, or okay, well, what does this person, if I were to tell them that I like them, how would that impact our relationship? Would that make things awkward? Would they be okay with that? Would they just be open and honest with you? You know what I mean? Like, just analyze the situation. I know that, like I said, I struggle with this sometimes, but there have been experiences where I have actually, used my brain and done that, and it's made the situation so much better. So much better. So there's some advice right there.
I don't know. I really do think I said this in my little word vomit spiel, but you need to be open to the possibilities of them liking you or not liking you.
It's true.
Because I know a lot of people are like, they have to like me, and you don't really think of not liking because you don't want to look at getting your heart broken. But it's 50-50. You're either going to have them like you or not.
And I know that chick flicks and Taylor Swift songs and stuff, like we were talking about this earlier, I know even for me, it kind of taints the whole idea of what reality really is.
Right.
I mean, because realistically, I mean, okay, You Belong With Me, key example, okay? Mm-hmm. You see the music video? Aw, so cute. But
in reality, it's like, okay, let's think. It's a high school boy. Is it in high school?
Yeah, it is high school.
Okay, and she's talking about how he likes the head cheerleader type thing, you know? And she's in the band. You know, it's kind of like, well, and it's a long shot.
It is, and we talked about this, like, with Out of Your League. We talked about this last year. I don't know what to call it.
Semester.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
But we talked about it, Out of Your League, and something that we talked about is out of your comfort zone is a big thing absolutely. Of what it actually is. And I don't know. I just know that thinking about that song as an example, think about... Okay, like, oh my gosh, everything's gonna pan out, and I really, really love him, and he belongs with me and stuff. But if you think about it, like, realistically, how often is that really gonna happen? I mean, I've been in that situation multiple times. I mean, heck, man, I mean, Felix. Felix is like the, you know, buddy. You know what I mean? Which is fine.
I don't know what
I'm the buddy, and that's what it is, and that's fine. But at the same time, I know that there's a lot of girls who have been in that situation too.
Friend zoned,
hardcore. Yeah. And the thing is that you need to just kind of try and be realistic about it, because there are like those movies and like media who makes it kind of tainted from what it really is. Because
and I'm not gonna lie, I watch chick flicks all the time. My whole movie collection is basically chick flicks. I'm trying to be better. But I'll watch it and I'll be like, why can't guys like that exist in real life?
Because they don't.
Yeah, exactly. They don't. So it's kind of tainted. Where are we going with this?
Well, I'm just saying, like, telling someone that you like them, you can't have too high of expectations.
Oh, right. Because I was like, we just moved on to a completely different topic.
We talk. But that's the thing, like, when you're telling someone that you like them, you can't have too high of expectations. You have to kind of think about, okay, open options. Honestly, they could not like me. They could not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'm not saying go into it like that all the time. You have to be confident with yourself.
Oh, yeah, be confident.
But you need to be open to the possibilities.
Just open to the possibilities.
Because, you know,
you don't know how things are going to pan out.
Girls who will cry and be like, how can they not like me?
Well, the truth of it is, when you're talking, but I'm talking so much. But when you're dealing with someone else's feelings and emotions and the way that they feel about something, you can't control that. You just can't. You know what I mean?
Right.
And going into it, telling them, I mean, yeah, there's a reason why you want to be as not awkward about it as you possibly can. But, you know, be confident. But
speaking of awkward, though, you just need to make sure when you are telling someone that you like them, make sure that they're obviously not into you, or like if you barely know them. Because I had a kid do that to me once.
Really?
Okay, he was crazy. He basically, because he was like, Amy, or the Dicer, shoot. The Dicer.
No one knows. Never mind.
The Dicer, you're the only girl I can picture getting married to, you know, and I'm like, that's so creepy, you know? Yeah. And, like, we barely even knew each other. We hung out twice. You know, once was with a big group of friends, and once was just one-on-one, which he told everyone was a date. But we went on a drive, so I was like, I don't feel like that was a date.
Yeah.
You know? Because we didn't plan anything. He didn't pay for anything.
Yeah.
We were paired off, but, you know.
I don't know.
I decided there are 3 P's to dating, but let's go over that another time.
We will.
So... I don't know. I just feel like you just need to make sure who you're talking to. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't suggest doing it to anyone that doesn't look like they're into you.
But a lot of the time you can't really tell.
I know, but you can always...
It's part of the dating game, but you can get the vibe.
Yeah, you can get the vibe, exactly. So,
and honestly, even with hardcore with, like, friends, when you think about your friends, I know that, I had my friend, his name was Josh, and he was my good friend. I told him that I liked him, and it wasn't even awkward, because he didn't make it awkward, you know what I mean? Because he was my friend, you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I don't know what was going on. He didn't tell me anything like, you know, yeah, I like you too, or anything. Because, like I said, things are never going to pan out. Especially, like, with guys, too, maybe. I'm sure with guys. With everyone in general, when you really, really like someone, and you're like, I'm going to tell him. I'm going to tell him. It gets,
okay, let's do this.
Well, you plan it out in your head. You're like, I'm going to say this, and then they're going to say this, and then it's going to be so great. And that's just never how it works out. So.
Yeah, never, rarely does it.
Sometimes it's better than what you plan. Sometimes it's not.
So I don't know. I'd recommend telling someone that you like them face to face.
Face to face.
I don't know if we already talked about this. Sorry, we haven't. Tangents, but because messaging, that's kind of like
the wimpy way to do it.
It's like, oh my gosh,
I've done it before, and it's not as good.
I'm actually not a huge fan of messaging or like texting or anything because it takes the emotion out of everything, and it's almost like people feel like they can like say unnecessary things to people online.
Yeah.
Like they'll be more mean to them online or over texting because it's like they feel so tough behind their keyboard, or they'll admit things to you that they wouldn't say face to face.
It's true, though.
So I feel like messaging is just the wimpy way to communicate.
It is the wimpy way to communicate, and I'm not gonna lie, I have done that through texting, like told somebody, yes, I do like you, and I regret it. I regret it because the thing is not only can you get your point across, because, you know, it's blurry, because it's not face-to-face communication or even on the phone, you know what I mean? You're not even talking to each other. So you might not be able to get across exactly what you're thinking or feeling, or they might take it completely different. But more than anything, if you really like this person and you want to see what they're thinking, you're going to want to see their response.
Exactly.
You're going to want to see their response, and you're not going to be able to.
Right. And, like, I keep coming back to this kid that I told over the summer. Like, I liked him. And what if I did it over messaging? Would he just stop talking to me right then? Like, stop texting me or talking to me on Facebook or whatever? Because he didn't say anything to me in person. So it's like, I don't know what would happen. I don't know.
Maybe it's better that way.
Yeah, it probably is.
Oh, gosh.
So, anyway, I feel like just make sure you know timing's right.
Timing's right. And just know who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Timing and
who you're dealing with.
I think those are the biggest things.
So,
I don't know. All power to y'all, though. If there's someone that you like, go tell them. Right now. We taught you. Or not. If the timing's not right, don't do it.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, so let's move on to some music because I'm sure people are
getting sick of our voices. Okay, well, next we're going to actually be playing one of my favorite songs. It's my little sister's favorite song.
So dedication to her.
Oh, yes, it's a dedication to my little sister. She actually, I'm going to brag for a second. It's not even like a huge deal, I'm sure, to anybody else, but I'm so proud of her. She called me the other day and she was like, Mandy, I'm student body president. And I'm so proud of her. She is awesome and I love her. Yeah. And this is her favorite song. And she's like, I want a boy to sing this song to me. So,
well, it's such a cute song. I went to their concert over the summer and it was so fantastic. They sang the song. You can't judge us once you know who the band is.
I know.
So, but they're good. They're talented. I know a lot of people don't like them because they are on Nickelodeon, but this is Big Time Rush. Yeah, they're
Cover Girl by
really
Big Time Rush.
So, anyway,
good song.
And remember, vote for our songs, the 2 top breakup songs of the week. It's Animal by Neon Trees versus Love Drunk by Boys Like Girls. So call into the cage, 435-283-7007. That was It's Time by Imagine Dragons.
I like them.
These guys are big. They're getting there. Like,
they actually really are.
Because they're on Billboard, like the top 100 rock charts. They're number 10 right now. Or the last time I checked. They could be higher up. They could be lower down. But the last time I checked, they were number 10. And this is a big deal, you guys. These guys are from Utah.
I like them
awesome.
A lot.
They're under the same record label as Neon Trees. Or that's what I read. So that means they're pretty big, you know. And, you know, they are actually from, like, the Provo area. They go to BYU. There are some that are Mormons. So, I don't know. That either makes people like them a lot or hate them a little bit more. But I haven't met anyone who's hated one of their songs yet. I think it's they're so diverse.
Like, they really are.
They have one that kind of touches into, like, dubstep. Then they have that song, which is more of, like, I would say rock, you know.
Yeah.
Then the rest of them are kind of like chillish, more like Jack Johnson style.
Except more upbeat.
Yes, exactly.
I like it.
They're so great. So if you haven't looked into Imagine Dragons, you should. You know,
they're great.
Support them because they're from Utah, if nothing else.
Plus, the Dicer says so. So,
and what I say goes.
All right.
Kind of.
Anyway,
the next topic we're going to be talking about is how to respond to someone or to liking someone.
How to respond to liking someone has a negative consequence. So that doesn't make sense. That probably sounds like a tongue twister, but let me explain. Okay, so pretty much when somebody tells you that they like you, but you don't like them.
Right.
It's a very awkward situation. You did word it very interestingly, but that's okay. That's okay. I've got your back.
I don't know where the has came from. I'm so sorry.
It's good. But it's an awkward situation, is it not?
It is awkward.
It's very awkward, and this is bolded and underlined, and
because it's so funny. Felix told it to me today, and I was like, you are saying this on air. It is so great. It is so her.
It's a story once upon a time. And this has happened multiple times, actually, in different circumstances. But it all started once upon a time when little Felix was, in elementary school. I was hardcore into soccer. And I'm doing soccer. And on my team, there was this kid that always came on, and hung out with my girls' soccer team and would play soccer with us, and he was like one of my teammates' cousins or something like that.
Right.
And he was always there. And this one time after soccer practice, everyone had gone home. I'm just sitting there, chilling, waiting for my mom to come pick me up, because that's what you do when you're in elementary school.
Right.
So I'm sitting there, and he just stayed there. And he's just sitting there talking to me. I'm like, okay, I'm content. And then he starts going off. He was like, oh, there's this girl, by the way, that I really, really, really like a lot. I was like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, and she's on the soccer team. And I'm like, oh, who is it? And they're like, guess. So, from that, you should be getting this, but little 11-year-old Mandy didn't know. I mean, Felix. 11-year-old Felix. Mandy is not my name. Anyways, but I didn't know, you know what I mean? So I'm sitting there. And I'm like, what about this girl, or this girl, or this girl? I'm like naming off all of my friends on my soccer team.
Right.
I get to all of them. I get to his cousin. I'm like, is it Ariel? Because that's gross. You know what I mean? And he's like, no. I'm like, Chandler, I've said everyone on the soccer team. I think you're crazy. I don't know who you're talking about. And then he just kind of looked at me and he was like, Felix, who else is on the soccer team? I'm like, I don't know. And then he just told me, he was like, Felix, I like you a lot. And I just stood there, as an awkward 11-year-old, standing there. I didn't know what to say or do. And then I just went, and I walked away. I, stood up. I walked away. It was on the playground. I remember we were on the playground at the school waiting to be picked up by my mom. And I just stood up and I walked away. And then years later, he became one of my really good friends. So.
Well, the funny thing is, I can see this happening now.
It happens now.
I can see.
It has happened.
Someone's like, hey, Felix, I like you. And you, stand up, shake their hand, walk away.
Do you know what? It's happened. We'll have to tell that story. But I had it's a preview for later week. But that did happen. That did happen. I went on this date. And it was a blind date with a deaf kid. It was cool. He was a way great guy.
I just think that's so great. A blind date with a deaf kid.
I know, but he was a great guy. But he tried to kiss me 3 times on one date, and it was a blind date.
And that's yucky.
And then I got to the 3rd time on the doorstep, and I ended up just shaking his hand and walking inside. I didn't say goodnight or anything. So I guess it's a trend for me now. But yeah, but it can be awkward. That's the thing. When someone else is putting themselves out there and you don't feel that way, or you do and you don't know how to express it. I don't know, but it's an awkward situation. So when you're on the receiving end, what are some things that you can do to make this less awkward?
Well, first off, I think, go ahead, have your pity party, because, on the receiving end. So,
on the receiving
I'm
end.
just making sure I'm saying the right thing, because you kind of just gave me this blank look. So I'm like, did I hear that right? Anyway, so have your pity party, just feel sorry for yourself. But after a week, you should be done. Honestly, like, it didn't happen. Feeling sorry for yourself is not going to make it happen.
No.
Ever. So, you know, just get over it. Go date again. You know, it's going to hurt to, you know, put your heart on the line again. But
sometimes not even putting your heart on the line per se, but just being around people of the opposite sex. That sounds, but it's just the truth. I mean, flirt it up. Go have some fun. I know that always helps me. I mean,
and I know that sometimes you just need to watch a chick flick, eat some ice cream, play some Super Smash Brothers.
Super Smash Brothers, that sounds
Halo,
better.
Call of Duty. I don't know. What do guys do? They like, I don't feel like guys get as bugged by it. Maybe they do.
Maybe they do. If so, let us know. Call in and tell us. And we'll tell
Except not
secret.
Right now.
Except not right now.
Because
wait like
we're
5
talking.
minutes.
Yeah, please wait like 5 minutes.
But yeah, it does. I think one of the biggest things for me when I think about times where I've liked somebody, you know what I mean? And I've said it out loud, the biggest thing that hurts for me is it hurts my pride. It like hurts my self-esteem.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because you're putting yourself out there. You're saying, hey, I like you. I'm here. I'm available. What's up? And then they turn you down. And you're like, oh my gosh, rejection. I feel stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
It's really embarrassing.
It is. And I think that sometimes, like we talked about the kid earlier who I was kind of like, hey, I like you. I don't really care if you like me either. But seriously, right after that, I felt so stupid. And Felix was there. I was like,
it's true.
This is going to sound so stupid, but I was like crying and I was like, you know what? I don't even like him anymore.
She was.
Like, and I just felt so stupid because one, I was embarrassed, and two, I didn't even like him like that anymore. So I was like, I just admitted that for nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Sometimes it embarrasses you so much that you just are like, okay, whatever. I want nothing to do with them.
I think a lot of it, I know for me, like I associate that embarrassing moment with them and you're like, I'm done. I don't want to think about this anymore. But
right.
I don't know. I think a big one is that it's really, 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 really hard to convince yourself just to get over them and to move on.
Absolutely.
When you sincerely, genuinely care about them. Right. And it's not just, oh, you're cute too. Okay, let's date. Like,
yeah, like elementary school.
Yeah,
style.
but like when you are legitimately super duper, like you really care about them on a deeper level than just, you know, even just dating. Like, you know, friends. I know that sounds opposite, that friends and dating would be, but I feel like in some ways, like when you're really good friends with somebody and you connect on a deeper level rather than just dating, and then you really super duper care about them, and then they don't feel the same way, and you put that out there,
right?
You know, it's hard because you sincerely care about them, like you really do.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to get over it sometimes. I mean, their loss.
Exactly. That's how you have to see it. I don't know. I have a roommate who's been struggling with that type of thing, and she's like, I just need to be like the dicer because the dicer gets over guys so easily.
Oh,
but it's not necessarily that I get over guys easily. It's just, this is going to sound horrible, I don't care enough about them to, you know, just be like, oh, but I still love them. I'm just like, whatever.
See, and I've never, ever, like, been the emotional, oh my gosh. But seriously, when you really do care about somebody, and this sounds really almost harsh, I'm going to say this from experience, actually recent experience, that I've had sometimes space is what you need. Like if you absolutely do sincerely care about that person, sometimes you just need the space. You know what I mean? Just to ease the awkwardness, just to let things settle down.
Right.
I mean, I know that that's something that's helped me get over past people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Well, and I think a big thing with that, to get over people, is just exploring other options.
Yeah, and it's kind of like what we were saying, like, go out and date again. You don't necessarily even have to date. Just be around people of the opposite sex. Because then you're like, you know what? Girls aren't all that bad. They're not all psycho like my ex, or like this past girl that I liked, and when, you know, or guys really aren't all that bad, you know? It's just,
you have start getting ideas of other things that you're like, oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Clears your head.
And when this happens, at least, like, when you're told that the person doesn't like you back, you know, at least try to keep the relationship positive. Well, if you had a relationship in the first place, you know, like, if you guys were friends before, try to keep it positive, because...
Which is harder than you'd think.
It is hard.
Even... And I think in a lot of ways, depending on how deep that relationship was, whether it be not that, you know, it's going to change it.
Right.
It's going to change it. In some ways, I know it's made it more positive, not even in a romantic sense, but platonically. And in some cases, just based on how certain guys have reacted, it's almost made me more distant and less trusting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of certain people. And you know what I mean? So, I don't know. But do your best to maintain a positive relationship, because I think that's one thing that people forget with dating.
Yeah. Because a lot of people are like, oh, you don't like me back? Well, that sucks, you know? So
I've seen that reaction out of girls, especially. Like, oh, you don't like me? Okay, well, I don't like you now.
That's such a girly reaction, though, let's be honest. Let's imagine a guy doing that.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway, so I don't know. That's all I have to say about it. Anything else you want to mention?
Nope. I'm content.
Of course, you would be content.
Oh, gosh. Well,
all right. Well, the next song we're going to be playing is Every Time We Touch by Cascada.
Good
Ultimate
stuff.
Dance song. Like, if I were stuck in an elevator for the rest of my life and I could only hear one song on repeat over and over again, it would be this song. Because I could just sit there and jam out to it. But then I would get tired of jamming out after a while, but I wouldn't get sick of the song, really.
It's a good song.
Yeah, I like it. So, anyway, here you go.
Have a dance party.
Remember, call into the cage. Vote for the top breakup song of the week.
We only have 25 minutes left of the show. So if you feel so passionately about either Animal by Neon Trees or Love Drunk by Boys Like Girls, one of them should win. You should probably vote.
Yeah, just like right now.
Not that, you guys probably feel that passionately about it, but
you should feel that passionately about it. Anyway, here we go. Every Time We Touch. All right, and that was Working for the Weekend by Loverboy. I feel like that's like my theme song every day until Friday, because I'm like, okay, I just got to get through this day, and then it's almost the weekend.
Oh, I work full time. I know exactly what that is.
I like your little.
Boy, oh boy, I know what you mean.
So I know you guys have all been waiting for this, except not, because no one has called in to vote, which makes me a little upset. But we're talking about the top breakup song of the week, and Animal won, actually. I'm not too pleased with that, because I really wanted Love Drunk to win.
Cheerio.
I did.
Mine won.
Yeah.
I'm super happy.
Anyway, so we're going to play that song, and then we'll talk more after that. So this is what you guys voted for. Keep this in mind. You voted for this song.
It's a good song. Enjoy.
It's decent at best. Anyway, here you go.
And that was the winner.
Yeah, you people voted for that.
That's what I voted for.
You voted for that.
It's like I won.
Oh my heck. That is what I have to say about that. Okay, well, we gotta go.
We do.
Because we have another show on right after us. And get this. For the people who listened to us last semester, they know that we had Not Your Mom's Broadway on right after us. Now we have another musical show on after us.
It's gonna be so fun.
What's your show name again? Musical Mania.
Ooh. Be intrigued. Listen.
Yeah, please keep listening. Remember 9/11. Remember the fallen.
Seriously, 2 hours left.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
It was a pretty big event. So
it was a pretty big event.
It was actually a huge event.
It was a huge event.
Life-changing.
Yes,
anyway,
it was.
And also we have fantastic news, because last year we also played Love Shack at the end of every single one of our episodes, I guess we can call this.
I don't know what to call it.
Let's call it an episode. Why not?
It'll be an episode.
And we're not going to do that this time. Well, the full song. We're just going to play the
22 seconds.
Yeah, it's kind of great. So we hope you have a great Tuesday.
And try and hang in there until next week, because I know you buggers are going to be out there wanting to listen to Felix and the Dicer, but
we always do.
Just hang in there. Hang tight.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Remember, keep listening to the Cage 88.9.